All right. I hope you all enjoyed that opening. It is officially spooky season, Halloween season. I know we're a little early, it's like 2 weeks away, but it's always an exciting month. And we're really excited about this deep dive. For those who have never met me before, my name is Imtiaz Alam. I am the instructional designer here at Guru. And Chris just gave some instructions a minute ago on getting a screenshot so that you could share for the end. We strongly encourage it. We're really hoping that this platform can be an avenue for that shared feedback, that shared expertise. So we have a star-studded cast of Guru folks today, and we couldn't be more excited about all the use cases and examples that we're going to provide for you today. The topic is organizing your content to support your workflow, to support your use case, to think about tasks that you need to complete however you're using Guru. What are those tasks, and how can we be like really efficient with them? And can we get some examples today? You know, what can we steal and what can we build upon from what we see? Hopefully, we're going to be able to learn a lot. And I always preface the Guru Deep Dives with the following. We are all at different phases in our Guru journey. Some of us are brand new. Some of us are seasoned vets, and that's all right. Wherever you are, hopefully you're going to be able to learn something new today, and share and give some feedback to your peers. So we're really pumped for that. We have 4 guests: Julia Safa, our Senior Manager of Revenue Empowerment; Emily Nguyen, our Partner Marketing Manager; Myrtle Asai, our People Operations Coordinator; and Stephanie Clay, a Product Manager. So a lot of different parts of the Guru organization are here today with really, really cool examples. We're pumped. I should also mention that right now, if you have questions and you want to throw them into the Slido, the code is at the top. It's GDD-OCT15, and you can use that for Q&A. You can also, if we have time at the end, I don't want to cut too far into our discussion time. We might have a couple questions that we can get to as well. Let's see how time allows for it. So either in a browser or on your phone, slido.com, and then GDD-OCT15. For those of us who might be brand new to Guru Deep Dives, you're going to learn about some, I guess not features, but use cases for this one. Typically, it's feature-based. You're going to see how Guru does it. This is a heavy Guru on Guru session. You're going to see what other customers do, and we're going to be able to discuss. That's essentially the format for our deep dive sessions. The schedule is I'll be giving a quick overview, and I kind of already doing that, and I'm gonna be quiet soon to kick it over to Julia, but I'm going to give just a quick overview of kind of what we're doing. And then we're going to have all our Guru on Guru folks give their input, talk about their use cases, talk about how they're completing tasks with Guru. And we're hoping that you can steal them and build upon them. And then after that, it's going to be your time to share those screenshots, to give advice, to get advice, to give feedback, or just pat yourself on the shoulder. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have an awesome use case example, please, we would love to hear from you. So without further ado, oh, I almost skipped it. There's 2 links here. I think Stephanie is going to throw them into the Zoom chat. If you haven't joined our Guru community on Slack, please do so. And our next Guru Deep Dive, save the date. It's going to be November 19th. The landing page is right there. The customer and the topic are to be determined. A couple of different irons in the fire, and we're going to tee that up and broadcast that out whenever we can lock that in. But for right now, go ahead, save the date, and RSVP on that landing page there. Okay, let's kick it off with Julia, who is pulling the strings behind Guru HQ. She's gonna kind of lay the groundwork for all of the awesome examples that we have today. All you, Julia.
Thanks, MTS. Thanks for being here, everyone. And definitely, you can interrupt me, ask questions in the chat and Slido. My title, if you go back to the title slide, yeah, perfect. My title is Revenue Empowerment, which is sort of a made up and important term at the same time. And so what I try to do is make sure that everyone has the knowledge they need to do their job, which is very meta, working for a knowledge management company. And so I'm sure some of you folks have heard Guru's research around a knowledge-driven culture. And so that's something that's really important to me and to Guru. And the idea there is that your knowledge is really like a company asset, like any other company asset. And we found that in a study, 94% of companies who were hitting their revenue goals also said that they were a knowledge-driven culture. To go to the next slide, that is that's wonderful, but what we've noticed and what I think culturally folks have noticed, if folks have seen the documentary, The Social Dilemma, for example, give a thumbs up if you've seen or heard about this sort of idea of this attention economy. What happens when you have so much knowledge, and we're talking about knowledge in Guru, but also the different inputs we have from Slack or email or text, the way that we do our jobs, this abundance of knowledge actually creates a scarcity of attention because you cannot pay attention to really more than one thing at once. And so we're noticing that the scarcity of attention is also leading to employee burnout, which, in the world of being connected all the time and our livelihoods coming through our devices and a lot of our relationships coming through our devices, really have to think about like how we structure our knowledge to help the employee experience. So we're sort of seeing the interaction or the intersection between knowledge, communication, and the employee experience, especially in like a COVID world. So if you go to the next slide, one of the ways that we're thinking about combating scarcity of attention and the abundance of knowledge is people are really craving consistency. And that is true of all humans all the time, right? We want certainty, we want routine, and especially now when we don't necessarily have a commute and that the sort of the routines that we're engaging in aren't as sort of interactive. How can we help create consistency in knowledge? So part of what I've done is worked with all of the folks here at Guru to manage what we call Guru HQ. So that's our internal knowledge base. And I've kind of worked with the team on having 3 key pillars. So if I am the DRI, so DRI, directly responsible individual, love an acronym on Guru HQ, there's no possible way that I can be the subject matter expert, SME, on all of the collections. So I have to figure out A, how to scale myself, and B, how to scale the consistency of the way that things are structured and formatted so that it helps sort of reduce that burnout and people can easier find what they're looking for in the whole world of an abundance knowledge world. So the number one thing that I have worked with the team on is creating structure and not just structure around knowledge architecture. So how you're setting up each collection, having consistency in the web app or in naming or in tagging of the structure, but also setting up a human structure. And so you're going to hear from 3 of the wonderful humans who've worked on this project, but those are our collection champs or SMEs, and so that I can scale myself with that sort of human structure. And if there's any questions, definitely interrupt. The second sort of pillar, so I've used this metaphor of a house. So the structure of a house is sort of the scaffolding, and then the beautiful rooms inside the house are the content. And so if you think about like humans and our eyeballs, and if we're seeing different cards with the same type, if you're seeing the same type of card with different formatting, that is going to be a larger mental load on you than having consistency of formatting. So that's really important to us. And then something we've been working on, especially in COVID years, is consistency of how we're adding knowledge to Guru. So we all know that like in a news cycle, newness is king. But in this case, we have to figure out how to incorporate and a process for incorporating sort of new nuggets of knowledge and how that goes into our knowledge base and is incorporated into existing cards. Because just because a card is old doesn't mean it's incorrect. And if we think about having a million cards in a knowledge base, that's going to be that mental load and the abundance of knowledge. And happy to talk more about that. That's what we call our knowledge submissions process, offline or in the chat or anything. And then the third thing before we pass it over to champs is it's really important to have knowledge management goals for individuals, because at least for me, and like in the world, in the working world in which we live, you're not necessarily going to work on something or like volunteer to work on something if it's not in your goals. So having knowledge management as part of individual and team goals, so the consistency, the trust score, some of the knowledge inputs, so getting knowledge out of Slack or MS Teams into Guru, having your team goaled on that will make a big difference. So you won't be pushing a boulder uphill as much. We have a weekly stand-up, and I can drop the weekly stand-up card into the chat in a minute. But that is a place, whether people join the stand-up or not, that there's a list of sort of weekly tasks and goals that our champs and SMEs are asked to do. So every week looking at duplicate detection, or searching for or looking at the analytics on searches producing no results. And so there's a lot of little things you can incorporate habitually into a routine to make sure that your knowledge is consistent. And then lastly, like the sort of celebration and honoring champs makes this not a nice to have, but part of a knowledge driven culture. And celebrating our champs is something that we're doing here. So I'm gonna, unless there's any questions, and I'll pause. I'm gonna pass it over to one of our champs of the marketing collection, Emily, to talk about how she's doing it in practice. Thanks.
Thanks, Julia. You really set us up for success there. Julia really does help keep us in line and help us with our instances. So really appreciate all the help there. My name is Emily. I'm our partner marketing manager. I sit on the growth marketing team. I work with our various technology partners in producing go-to-market campaigns. We work on various activities, from blog posts to webinars to virtual events, sponsored events, all those fun things together. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of different use cases that we have established within the marketing team. So one of the most commonly asked questions for marketing is, what are the campaigns that you're working on this quarter, and where can we find them? What's the status on them, and how can we follow through with them throughout the quarter? And so one thing that we've actually started to do every single quarter now is we've got this board here that has marketing campaigns. And you can see here it's placed by tier A, tier B, tier C campaigns. And this board is open for the entire company. And so there's full transparency on what the marketing team is working on. And so you can see exactly what OKR it ladders up to. And as Julia mentioned, the DRI. So you can see exactly which individual is responsible for exactly what activity in which campaigns in Asana. So it's all there for the entire company to check in on throughout, the entire quarter. Next slide, please. So marketing is responsible for creating a lot of content for the company. In working with our partners, we do have a lot of partners. And one thing, when I was hired for this role, I was trying to figure out how to best use Guru to keep track of all of our partner assets, because each one has a variety of different things, whether it's a blog post or an integration video or the marketplace listing. I wanted to create a place where people could find all of these assets easily in one place. And so I've created a co-marketing toolkit for every single one. And you can see for here, it's Slack. There's the marketplace landing page, which you can find easily. There's the Slack action videos, a one-sheeter for sales, customer testimonials, and then links to all the different blog posts. And so this is really easily searchable for the entire company to find out, what we've done with Slack in the past, and it's all in one place. Next slide, please. Along with producing content for the rest of the company, our content team does an incredible job of posting blog posts every single week. And so we've built this into their workflow, where every time a post goes live, they create a Guru card with it. So the blog post board has, I think, like 270 cards or something. And so it's really, really important that they stay with this workflow so that folks are able to find these posts really easily. So they add in the title, there's a link, there's a description. And one thing that I want to call out here, it's a little small to see, but recently we did a deep dive on tags. And this is incredibly important because you can put whatever information you want in Guru, but if it's not easily searchable and you can't surface it right away, then it kind of makes it counterproductive. And so the tags make it essential for the cards to be, easily pop up when you first search them. And so originally, if you look at the bottom, there's 4 of them. Originally, we were just categorizing each blog post card by the category. So blog, category, knowledge management, use case, which is company-wide for this one, and then the value driver, which is internal efficiency. Recently, one of our sales reps actually called out that they don't search by the blog category. So it's not helpful for them if we always just use blog, knowledge management. So then we started implementing doing a blanket tag for all blog posts. So that makes it really easily searchable. So one thing to keep in mind as a Guru champion is to think about the person who's searching for the content, because the people that create the content, I mean, they know it very well, they can easily find it, but the folks that didn't create it, they might not be thinking the same way. So that's a big learning lesson that we found out in the last couple of weeks. Next slide, please. And then lastly, I work with a lot of partners on webinars and virtual events. And so we've really leaned on Guru to create cards within the invitation and the follow-up process. So before every single webinar and every single event, we create a Guru card like this. It's got the name of the webinar or event, the speakers, all the relevant details like timing, registration page, as well as a brief description. So once this card is created, we distribute to the customer-facing team, so AM, CX, and sales, and so that they can invite customers and prospects to this event using all the information in this one place. Next slide, please. And then once the event has ended, I go and create a second card that has the recording within it. And what's special about this card is that it's a public card. And so folks that don't have Guru, that aren't Guru customers, are able to easily access it. And so we use this in our follow-ups. And it's actually a really great way to kind of demonstrate what Guru looks like without kind of pushing in their faces. So this card has a recording, it has a brief summary, and then this way the rest of the company can access this card at any time and send it out to folks that aren't customers of ours. And so in keeping with this process, it's been incredibly helpful to keep track of all the events that we've done, as well as document the recording as well. So that was very quick. If you guys have any questions at all, I tend to talk pretty fast, so.
No. Emily, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yay.
For those marketing use cases.
Perfect.
Definitely just a friendly reminder, there's the Q&A in Slido, so please feel free to keep throwing them in there, but we'll keep moving along here so that we can keep seeing more examples in our people operations department with Myrtle. Myrtle, it's all you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me to this. I love Guru for People Ops, so I'm really excited to talk about this. I have 2 use cases for jobs to be done within people operations. However, there are like so many jobs that need to be done that Guru serves the purpose for, and I'm happy to answer any questions after we go through. If you don't mind, Imtiaz, just going to the next slide. So this is the first use case for People Apps onboarding new hires. And this is something that every company has to do at some point in their life cycle. And so it's really important to People Ops to have the best and most seamless onboarding process possible. And with Guru, we're really able to put a lot of information in a central place that new hires can go to kind of just get acclimated and learn as much as they can about the company in their first few weeks. So as you can see here, this is our new hire onboarding board, and we like to start our boards with kind of like a guide to either the board or the section. So the card that you're looking at now is like the first card that a new hire would see as they enter Guru and start looking through the cards. And it's nice because we can put like fun GIFs and memes or videos and links to any like pertinent articles or other cards that are applicable to a new hire when they join. And then we also like to break it down by section. It just makes it easier to read as people come through Guru and they're looking for like specific information. I also like that we use Guru for the new hire onboarding because it not only gets them acclimated to like Guru as a company, but it gets them acclimated to using Guru as the product as well. So that's onboarding. Oh, sorry. There's one other thing I want to mention. We actually use another project management tool with our onboarding. And one thing that's great with Guru is that we can link the cards directly to that onboarding project for the new hire. And so it's just like, it makes it easy for them to kind of click back and forth. So I really like that we're able to use like the card links as well. We can go to the next. Okay, so the second use case that I have today is performance reviews, another job to be done by almost all companies. One thing that, as you can see with this card here, is that we have this is kind of like a guide overview card. And so we can put like little snippets of information to someone just getting acclimated to the knowledge that we have. And then we also link other cards that would be applicable or useful to whoever's accessing this information. One thing with performance reviews is that it comes around once or twice a year. You know, people who are just joining the company, there's a lot of information to find out about the process and how it works. And even people who have been here for a while, if there's been any changes, you know, this is a great way for us to keep the team up to date on any changes, processes, and dates, which I'll show you in the next slide. Thank you. So here you can see like we can outline information on the dates for eligibility or when the cycle period is. It gives our team, the people team, flexibility to make changes and keep this information up to date for all employees as we approach those timeframes. And then on the next slide, this is just another way that we can show dates to the team with information that will be useful to them to know as they're planning out their quarter or their or the next half of the year. And so that's all. There are so many cases that I could share about how Guru, how many jobs we could do with Guru and People Ops, and I'm happy to answer any questions that come up about either the performance reviews, onboarding, or the plethora of other jobs that we as People Ops use Guru for. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Myrtle. I can attest to when I started last year at Guru, like being in the product and doing onboarding, it like helped me figure out what the product was like about on a much deeper level, which was super cool. So thank you for that. So moving right along.
There are a couple, sorry to interrupt, Imtiaz, a couple questions came in through Slido, it looks like for Myrtle, so I just wanted to pause.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, happy to answer those. So what is the name of the LMS tool your People Ops team uses with Guru? So it's actually not an LMS tool right now. However, that might be an option in the future. I'll let Imtiaz answer that question. But we use Asana, which is a project management tool. And we're able to link Guru cards right within tasks, which makes it kind of easy to toggle back and forth.
Myrtle, I can jump in there.
Yeah.
Sure. So we use an LMS for like the Guru Academy, but that's really for external purposes. So like if you've been at the Guru Academy, it's for you. But internally, we're not using like a specific LMS, although some folks could go to Guru Academy to get to know the product. But that intention is really like for external purposes only. And so different LMSs, you know, specialize in internal versus external, some are both, you know, and that's a whole kind of different combo. But yeah, to Myrtle's point, we're, if I'm saying it correctly, Myrtle, it's really a combination of Asana and Guru. It's kind of the way we do it.
Yes. And then the next question was, are the People Ops board groups demoed by Myrtle shared with users who don't have access to the People Ops collection? If I'm understanding this question correctly, we have boards and board groups that are visible to the entire company. And then we also have boards that are visible just specifically to the people team. And we are able to keep some of those private to our team. And then we do share like this information that I was showing about like benefits and new hire onboarding, et cetera, directly with the team.
Awesome. And Mike, I saw that you said you had a question related to the new hire onboarding. If you want to come off mute, you can definitely feel free to ask that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I really like this as an idea, and I'm looking forward to kind of adopting something similar for our instance of Guru. My main question comes to like related to permissions. Like, have you received any feedback from users that like they don't want to see those cards after they complete new hire onboarding? Or is that something that like those cards continue to be recommended in search results, 6 months to a year when they're in the role?
I have not heard anyone saying that they or gotten any feedback that someone didn't want to see the cards anymore after, because the way that I'm thinking about it is after an employee has been with Guru for some time, there are instances where they have questions that they want to refer to this board, like the Guru org chart, for example. That's something that an employee would want to use ongoing throughout their time with Guru. And then but I haven't heard any feedback about that. No, I would just think that at the point where someone had been here for some time, they would either know how to navigate our collection where they can find the information that they need quickly, or they would start using search or the extension more frequently.
Yeah, and I can jump in there as someone who's outside of the people team and frequently accesses this knowledge on a weekly basis. So I've been at Guru about 1.5 years, and I'd say consistently throughout my time here, this collection has been really helpful, whether it's when we're looking at benefits again and I'm kind of referring back to it, or thinking about different Guru perks. It's the collection that has proven very valuable over time.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And if you don't mind, I'll jump in as well. And it's not about people ops specifically, but it's about permissions and sort of like recency. So my team sends a newsletter. So that's like a moment in time bound Guru card that has the information everyone needs to know across the teams in 2 weeks. So I have gotten some feedback that like those sort of time bound cards can clutter search. And so I have now been in the practice, as it's important to add knowledge, it's important to archive knowledge. So if you come up with like a systematic way that that if it really is like truly time bound, put it on a verification schedule that you'll know, all right, it's been 3 weeks, okay, time to archive. And that speaks to my like overabundance of knowledge, especially in search.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm trying to envision whether or not to put this board in its own collection or in an existing collection that we have, because the onboarding information that I imagine is very specific to one type of team and would not apply to some of the other teams that use Guru. So just trying to kind of wrap my head around that.
Happy to talk more offline about that.
And just put a link to board permissions in the chat as well for anyone who's not familiar or hasn't used board permissions. That's a great way to kind of grant access to specific groups like we've been talking about.
Yeah, Chris, you read my mind. Appreciate that. I want to make sure that we can give time to Stephanie Clay, who is from our product team, one of our product managers, so that she can walk us through her use cases. Stephanie, all you.
Hello there. So yeah, I'm Steph, and I'm one of the product managers here at Guru. As Julia mentioned, I'm also the collection champ for our product knowledge. So I'm super excited to share a bit about how we organize our collection and then dig into one of our most widely used card types. One of the key jobs that Guru helps us with is making sure that we're collaborating within our department as well as with key partners. This all centers around enabling our teammates with the knowledge that they need to operate effectively and efficiently. So all team members at Guru have access to our product collection. One of the interesting aspects of our collection is that we truly have knowledge that fits 3 different audiences. So I have an example of each on this slide. First, we have internal PM cards like templates and onboarding info. These cards are definitely most relevant to the product team. Second, we have cards whose primary audience is our working group. So think product design, engineering, marketing. And while these research docs, historical records, and collaborative process guidelines are a resource for our entire Guru team, they are most likely the most valuable to our smaller PDE group. And then finally, the third type of knowledge is used by the entire company. This includes cards like launch overviews, how to submit customer feedback, public-facing roadmaps. These pieces of knowledge are resources that we as a PDE group create with the primary goal of better alignment with the broader Guru team. Next slide, please. As a PM, I find myself both accessing and contributing to many different types of knowledge in our team account. Out of all of these cards, feature breakdowns are definitely my favorite. We house these in the product collection, and they fit into the third category that I mentioned before of company-wide info. Given we found such value in using them to help us launch updates to our product, I thought I would dive into our process creating them, what info they contain, how we utilize them, and then some of the main benefits that we've seen so far. We typically begin developing feature breakdown cards when we're getting close to starting development on a project. Our absolutely amazing product marketing partners take the lead creating them, collaborating with other leads on the pod, and then owning them long-term. The feature breakdowns each follow a card template. This provides an overview of the work, designs, use cases, how to talk about it, and the slide you have in front of you shows part of that template and really kind of what we follow to create them. The knowledge is geared towards our customer-facing teams at Guru, so we highlight key aspects like the release timing, why the feature exists, why the user cares, FAQs, links to additional resources like videos and help center documentation as well. Could you go to the next slide? Perfect. So we found that these feature breakdown cards are really valuable during development, launch, and after release. At the beginning of development, we typically post in our newsletter and Slack channels to let the entire Guru team know which functionality is coming soon. And it gets conversations started, and we use these questions that are asked in those discussions to then continue developing and prep resources in the card. We have boards that contain our current marketing launch, other updates being released, and previously released functionality. The cards are also added to a quarterly launch overview card. This enables both the marketing team to plan for the launches, but also makes it really easy for all of Guru to know which new functionality they can expect in the next quarter and then learn about each project upfront. So feature breakdown cards are probably one of the most important cards in my mind. They are the single source of truth on new features and development. Everyone knows to check the feature breakdown card first if they need info, rather than scrolling through Slack and Clubhouse and pinging people. So the cards are something people know they can rely on, and hopefully saves them time and saves us from answering repeat questions. I've personally seen such a value in them in enabling us to work asynchronously with the CX and sales teams. They also really enhance the partnership between PM and PMM as we align on projects early and discuss goals and strategy and develop resources together. So as our PM team has grown, they've also become a really valuable tool in staying up to date with the other work that those PMs are doing. So that's all for me, but happy to answer any questions you guys have about our product collection overall or this type of card. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Steph. Yeah, I can attest to the ways that I use feature breakdown cards when I need to shout it out to the Guru community. I'm looking at that card when I need to freshen up on a feature to teach it in the Guru Academy, I'm using that card. So that's just two ways I can use it. And a resource that I want to shout out that you can use as well is our template gallery, which is just at getguru.com/templates, which is a collection of a bunch of different, like our customers and us, the ways that we have helped contribute to your knowledge base. You can just grab these, throw them into your knowledge base and start running with them. So there's a bunch of different examples here that you can use. So if you haven't checked that out, please do so. And shout out to Chris, because in the last month or two, he's been hustling to get this up and running. So, and others as well. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that, because that template that Steph was just talking about right here is part of that, and along with many others. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna skip the Slido questions in the interest of time, because I really want to make sure that we can hear from you and hear, see your screenshots. You can feel free to live share your instance. We want to hear from you about tasks that you're using Guru for. So feel free to take yourself off mute or put video on and start throwing them out there. All right. Well, I waited the 7 seconds, right? That's the rule. If there's anyone that's coming from, I saw Kristen took herself off of video. Kristen, go for it. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
My name is Kristen. I'm the revenue ops manager at Bread. We're like a pay over time tech solution in New York. We started using Guru in our operations department, but now revenue is expanding the use case internally. So I haven't quite rolled it out yet, but I can show a card that me and my Knowledge Council have built and starting to test out. That's okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
So I just wanted to show it from the Chrome extension, because I really like how the sections can just visually break up the cards. So my sales team, needs to sell against our competitors all the time. We found that other teams in the revenue department, from like partnerships to marketing to success, we're all curious about this knowledge, even though they don't use it every day. So I broke it down by the competitor per section, and then we have 2 cards per vendor. And we worked as a team to build out the knowledge. So I have a stupid theme of just making the formatting match the color of the collection, which might be a little OCD, but for now it's working. I'm seeing thumbs up, so that's good. So yeah, that's something we're excited about. One of my sales reps told me he was enjoying looking at his Sezzle overview card. So, I think that's probably the biggest ROI I'm looking for right away, is who's just enjoying checking for knowledge instead of having to ask for help.
I absolutely love the color coordination. That makes me so happy.
Same.
Oh yeah, same. That's an awesome example, Kristen. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
Yeah, that was super cool. Let's keep it going. Kristen, thanks for kind of getting us off to a start there. While we still have about 5 minutes, we can probably get another 1 or 2 in if folks are willing to share.
All right, I'll go ahead and jump in and share my instance here. What I'll be demonstrating is a common card that our technical team creates and pairs with knowledge alerts. So this reference collection here is just general knowledge. For context, I work at Sonos. We sell speakers, and since they're connected to the internet, there's a lot of networking details, things like that, that go into being able to properly troubleshoot our systems. So those technical bulletin cards that our technical engineering team creates lives pretty much throughout any of these boards. And the way that we quickly identify them is using the tech bulletin tag, and that will pull up examples of known issues that we have to be able to speak to. And then in viewing this, essentially there's symptoms of the issue, what agents need to do with working with the customer, and then specific tagging information to make sure that those Salesforce cases are flagged appropriately. One of the challenges that I'm currently encountering is, I think Julia had mentioned it, is maintaining consistency across the board. So we've obviously created these tech bulletin templates. However, when it comes to the actual content itself, it can be pretty difficult. We have about 15 engineers globally who are creating these bulletins. So making sure that they're writing with the appropriate audience in mind, keeping things concise and clear. Those are all things that I'm currently challenged with and trying to overcome. So yeah, that's how we use it.
%97 trust score. Pretty good.
Thank you.
Good. Also love that you guys are using knowledge alerts. Saw that at the top. It's very cool.
Yeah, I guess another thing that's kind of interesting, we're not really talking about knowledge alerts today, but just trying to also get adherence to viewing them is another challenge we're encountered with. Obviously, we send out knowledge alerts pretty consistently. We're looking into further reporting so we can make sure that agents are not only reading the card, but clicking that button, trying to drive that behavior.
Of course. And you're obviously looking at the reports, so you know who and who isn't, right?
Yes, we're looking to obviously get it down to even like a location and team-based level. So we're going to have to use the API to pull that out. But yeah, we're getting down to that level.
Oh, super cool. I love that. And actually, one of the irons in the fire for the November or December deep dive might be an API session. So I love that you just mentioned that. As we are coming up on 1:45 on the East Coast and 10:45 on the West Coast, I think it's probably time that we can fade out. And if you are still having questions, please jump into the community and ask us there. And we've really loved it. Thanks for everyone for being here. Guru and Guru folks, we appreciate you so much. And I think we should probably end with a little more Monster Mash, right?
And it's a graveyard smash. It's caught on and the fly. It's
Good seeing everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
My Monster Mash.